Hey y'all, it's me, Paul Puckett. Here we go. Here we are. Here we are with the first edition of the Paul Puckett Art podcast / YouTube channel / whatever we're going to call it. I have no idea. I have no idea how it's going to go. It'll probably adapt into some certain shapes and sizes and colors, but we're here now. We're going to see how it goes. I've never done this by myself. When I say by myself, like, the Barely Live podcast or the old Flood Tide podcast. So it's going to be a lot of talking to myself, I guess. And we're out here in the wind. Hopefully it's not getting too hammered. We're out here at the Cast and Drafts event here in Charleston on the fine Ashley River. I can see the Cosgrove Bridge in the background. It's a solid setting here. These guys have been doing some cool events. Over the last year, I've kind of just gotten to meet them recently through my buddy Jacob. He plays music at this. He also plays music in our band that you just listened to, Bandito. That was from a little gig we had at Martin's last week. That song's called My Medicine. So we're going to chat with him later. We're going to talk to Bug from his skiff company. Looking forward to that. He does a lot of repair, basically runs a skiff repair shop here in town. So we're going to talk to him. We're going to talk, there's a bunch of boat guys here. I think Thompson Boats, Thomas. Hey, let's get it straight later. I don't know all the details right now. I know I should, but I'm not the main information guy here. I'm just here, the conduit of the info. But we're gonna have we're gonna have Chris Perot from his Focus Flyco. See, I got that right. And we're gonna talk to a few people here. So I'm excited about it. It's fun. I've been nervous about launching this thing, trying to figure out a good way to launch it. And I figured this was the way to do it. The plan essentially is to have a YouTube channel and show my artwork, different phases, chapters of maybe a certain painting, drawings, a little inside of the studio. I've been planning this for a long time, and probably mess around with some apparel as well, some new designs, and eventually it will be a Patreon pay-for platform. And some stuff will be on the YouTube without having to be on Patreon, but a lot of it will be kind of a featured thing on that. So probably, anywhere from $3 to $5 a month. And the plan is to reveal certain designs, hats, shirts first and only maybe. So we're going to figure it out as we go. As they say, it's a fluid situation. But yeah, ever since Flood Tide, since we put Flood Tide to rest, we've never really come out and talked about it. And so I just figured I would kind of start with that, kind of end of a chapter, the beginning of a new chapter with Flood Tide Co-Apparel, and we've never officially said we're done, but we are done with that. Just wanted to say thanks to all the people that over a 10-year, even longer span, that gave us so much support and love, and it was such a cool sense of pride and accomplishment to see just one person wearing a hat or a shirt. And just want to say that stuff never runs out. Like, I still see people wearing Flood Tide stuff or just even a sticker. So it's still kind of my little baby. So, but the fuel, the fire just kind of ran out on that, and I'm on to other things. It kind of happened with COVID, having the retail store, having a kid, having other people involved that wanted to go different directions as well. So it was just a big pile of energy that needed to. The best result was to put it to sleep. So, but just wanted to say thanks again for all the support on that. Couldn't have done it without y'all. And it's this fly fishing community and culture is what made that thing grow and happen. So thank you for that. And let's see. Still got the music here in the background. But on to, this new project. Eventually Patreon, and like I said, we're gonna be just continuously throwing out new stuff here and there, and I'm excited about it. So, also, podcasts with other artists, other musicians, and just people in the fly fishing world as well. Just different angles that touch all those different things that make up who I am, what I do, and I'm very, very excited. The word of the day is excited, so get ready for me to hear. Get ready to hear that a lot. I'm going to be saying it a lot, so of course someone's calling me. So with that in mind, I've got some musicians that I've contacted that are going to, whether it be through a phone or being in my studio. I'm also going to set up some cameras. We're going to get techie with it, make it a pretty cool production, and it's going to be cool if I can pull it off. If I can make video match audio and make sense of all that world, that's going to happen. So you can see my pretty mug, my really cute hot mug, along with some other folks that are in there, and we're also keeping Barely Live alive. That's not ending, and we're going to bring the cameras out for that. So, but I don't know if you're ever going to see what Richard Queso looks like. So who knows? I would imagine a lot of the same people that listen to Barely Live will be checking this out. I hope so. That's the plan, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So just to get you caught up to date on some of my recent projects, I worked on this Yeti coffee table book for about 3 months, and it was a great experience. I learned a lot from it. They wanted it simple at first. I made it more complex, so that was my own fault. It took me a lot longer to do, I think, than they originally planned on it. But I think that comes out in the fall, and it's kind of about all their ambassadors, all their guides, all their people that use their products and do well with it. And so, I had to draw and paint and watercolor, illustrate those people in action using the products, and not always using the products, just being themselves out in the wild, using Yeti stuff, and I think it's going to come across pretty cool. I'm excited about people seeing it, and I'm super excited to see it myself and see it in full color and actually in a book. So it's the first project like that, of that kind, that I've done. So yeah, that's the other thing. Let's see. We've also got the Holly paintings. The Don Holly tournament just happened recently. So went down. Oh, also, I'm sipping on a beer here from Free House Brewing. If you're here in Charleston, come check this place out. It's pretty cool. So Don Holly tournament happened a couple weeks ago. Went down there for that with my father-in-law. Coincided with being there during the tournament. Dropped the paintings off. Chance Yarborough, my buddy back in Texas, did the other 3. He played a good trick on me as well. He decided to tell me like 5 days before the tournament that he wasn't able to finish the 3 paintings, and my heart basically stopped beating. I got nervous until he told me he was kidding. So thanks a lot, Chance. Good job, buddy. So we drove down to Florida, picked Keith up, Beer Man as we call him, at the airport, and made our way down. I went 2 days ahead of time. Made our way down to Big Pine. Fished with my buddy Kenny Atkinson. Look him up. If you're on Big Pine, that's who you need to fish. That or Joel Dickey. Great dudes. They know their stuff. They know where the fish are. But our plan was to not mess with fish on the ocean side. Our plan was to see fish rolling, cast to them, and hook them. And for 3 days we did that. It was awesome. Keith is still kind of learning his way around the tarpon, if you will. And I don't know, in 3 days we put 20 fish in the air, maybe, something like that. So it was exactly what we wanted to do. It was perfect, and we had a blast. Had good weather. The third day was supposed to be, projecting 4 or 5 days out. The third day was supposed to be the best weather day, like no wind. But it ended up being the windiest day. We saw probably the least amount of fish roll, but we caught the most. So I don't really know how you add all that up. It just ended up being a great time. And great light. And Kenny's awesome. Thanks again, Kenny. Appreciate you, buddy, out there. Staying positive. Kenny's always positive, which we like. Not saying other guides aren't, but, it's just a little different, So had a good time there. In the Don Holly trip, or the Don Holly tournament, Rob Fordyce took the winning guide, and man, he's a machine down there. He looks like a machine. He is a machine. And I think they beat the next guy, my buddy Tim O'Brien. I want to say they beat him by like 6 fish, something like that. But they caught a lot of fish that week, and I know the Gold Cup's going on right now, and it looks like they're struggling down there. They got some wind. They're also probably dealing with a lack of fish. This is where those fish start kind of dissipating on the ocean side. And I know those guys will follow the fish them however they need to, but they like that oceanside stuff, and I think those fish are starting to trickle out. They're starting to move, making their migration north and west and south in big circles. Who knows? No one knows. What are the tarpon doing right now? No one knows. Also still trying to batten down the hatches on this journal book, my own journal book. So trying to do that. The painting world is busy. I've got some projects I'm excited about. I'm going to start filming those, time-lapsing those, and start showing you all, kind of like break it up into chapters, kind of the foundation of a painting, the drawing, the shading, the blocking in values, that sort of thing. So I'm excited about that. It's going to be a learning curve for me. I've never done anything like that. I don't want to do too much editing and whatnot. But what I don't want to do is probably what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to do some editing. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to show y'all. I'm excited about the feedback. I'm excited about everything. I told you, word of the day is excited. So, and let's see. Oh, yeah. I ran across an Instagram page today. Let me look for it. It was so bizarre. I know this stuff happens out there, but it blows my mind. I ran across, how it'll say recommended for you at the top, and you want to follow it or not. North Jersey Sky. Check this thing out. So this guy, and I know that someone that listens to this might agree with this guy, and maybe I'm not totally negating it, but I guess it more blows my mind than anything. This guy is claiming that all the bad weather is man-made. I guess to drive maybe some sort of government funding, and that creates jobs, and that does this, and it creates chaos where jobs come out of chaos. I don't know the whole government scheme behind it. You'll have to ask him, maybe message him. But it's a whole thing. The most amazing thing is that the comments in there, all these people that are like, yeah, man, for sure, like that cloud trail is clearly man-made. Like, that cannot be real otherwise. And I know we're having a lot of drastic weather these days, which probably drives that whole narrative. But look at it. North Jersey Sky all together on Instagram. It's pretty unbelievable. So that's kind of my Instagram take right now. Check that out. And live music recently. I haven't really seen much live music lately. I need to. We played last week, had a blast at Martin's Barbecue. Thanks again, Martin's, for letting us play. We basically have a glorified practice over there on every second Friday of the month, and it's a lot of fun. Jacob's here. He's setting his music up. I'm going to have him come chat with me lately also. So let's get him on and talk to the music. We're also going to have old Chris Perot over here of Focus Fly Co. Yeah, hey, let's go ahead and get you. Let's go ahead and get you, bud. You just got to figure out where you want to sit and put a headphone on, and let's see how's it. Yeah, that's a good move. Actually got to pause it first, and then we're going to get back on here. All right, Chris Perot, ladies and gentlemen.
I just, yeah, big O.
Lee, look at him, folks. Look at him from Focus Fly Co. Let's just say it used to be Fly Lab Supply.
Correct.
Just for the people that might be confused, what's this Focus Fly Co. all about?
Yeah, this is the new edition, if you will. We've graduated from of not knowing how to do what's right for your business and trademarking and all that, and jumping straight into.
It's called a learning curve, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
jumping right into challenge that you grow from. So Focus is now what has been born from that wonderfully terrible mistake.
Well, I actually like the name better.
I do too.
So I think it's funny because I feel like obviously tying flies is your focus.
Yep.
But from what I've seen on your Instagram, and is it Focus Fly Co. on Instagram?
It is.
I feel like you're trying to reach out more to like the world on come with me and learn how to tie flies
Absolutely.
too. Like more of a community aspect besides from just selling your little redfish fly that's going to catch you your redfish.
You nailed that. We got as weird as we could with the title too, because like anything that you're doing creatively, you think way too hard. You overthink about like, all right, I want to call it this or that.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
so we did kind of realize that the one thing that when we lost the steam of a working title that we had originally, Fly Lab, the one thing we weren't going to lose was our focus, and so that became really easy, like a low hanging fruit to be like,
Yeah.
well, duh, that's a sick name. But also, there's a little acronym that's real slick baked in there, and it's FOCUS. It's founded on conservation, utility, and stewardship, and
Look at
that's the focus.
Yeah.
Right. So there's all kinds of conservation opportunities within what we do. We do plastic-free packaging. We do what we can to
Yeah.
practice what we preach on that North Star. But then also there's the utility side, making functional flies that work, and then
Yeah.
there's the stewardship part. You nailed it. It's teaching people if they get excited about this.
Yeah.
Then come on with me. This is something that you learn something from it every time. So
Well, the reason you've always stood out to me, even before like the flood tide days, you have a salesmanship about you, but it's an honest salesmanship about it. It's not a used car salesmanship.
not yet, yet.
But it's a hold my hand. Let me show you how this works.
Yeah.
And I'm probably gonna end up buying it.
Yeah,
But in a good positive way.
if you're on fire about something, I'm gonna buy it from you too. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I think if you're just pumped up to the moon on whatever it is,
Yeah.
chances are I'm gonna respect that.
Yeah, you have a high energy level, and it comes across well. So
I get Puerto Rican on people.
that's right. I
You
forget.
know?
I forget about your Puerto Rican
There's
ism.
there's a chunk.
It's an ism.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, dude. So what's kind of the so what I've also let's talk about your flies. What I've noticed about your flies
Okay.
is they're standard. Like there's a standard in there.
Sure.
But there's always a funky in there. I feel like
Oh yeah.
when I wouldn't normally probably have put purple legs in there, that's where you put purple legs
Oh
in
yeah.
there.
I've
So
started
if
to
it-
realize, as a redfish thing goes, there certainly there's picky ones and there's not so picky fish.
Yeah.
And you can be as artful as you want on the hook, but it really comes down to an angler being able to put that thing where it needs to be at the right time, the right way.
Yeah.
So really, I like to take advantage of that truth and I want to throw an acid trip on a fly. I
Well,
want to throw something
To
wild.
some degree, I think you have. Yeah. And I think that's what makes some of your flies stand out like that, for sure.
I love it. And it's also fun anytime you're making something that shouldn't be taken so seriously.
Yeah.
To just give them far out names.
No, that's
and
how- that's
just
how it
get
should be.
wild. It's not super serious. It's more like here's something you can be confident in, but also have fun with and not
Yeah.
take too
I would
serious.
say the one time I usually get down about if it's not someone or a thing in this industry, it's when people take themselves too seriously in this.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, it's a fishing industry.
Yo, it's fishing.
Yeah, we're supposed to have
fishing.
fun.
Absolutely.
Now, there's times where we'll get mad at a certain fish, but give me 3 seconds, I'll be right back to high five.
Totally.
Yeah,
I get.
so-
It's funny that Puerto Rican thing we talked about. People will be on the skiff, like platform behind me, and they're like, "Dude,
Yeah.
it's okay." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, I'm good. I
Y-
promise,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
good.
yeah.
I just
I'm-
need like
I
2
seem
seconds." Yeah, I'm
And
gonna.
if you need to get up and talk to your people, just do what you got to do.
You know what? I kind of want to use this as an experiment. Let's just
Okay.
see. Let's just
Ooh,
see
that's
what
a
he
good move.
does.
They might actually start just putting stuff in their shirt pockets.
Yeah, I just
and
want. I
pant
want to
pockets.
create vandals and.
Well, it's like if they want it that bad, just let them have it, right?
Seriously, they deserve it. It's an acid trip on a hook. If you really like it, you should have it.
Acid. Have you called a fly yet? That acid
no,
trip
no,
on a
but
hook?
I have been calling things like I have a specific pattern I like to throw called the Wonka beater, which is really mad respect to Scotty. Scotty Davis made the drum beater forever ago, and it is one of the most inspiring flies of all time for
The
me. And
beat, the drum beater.
right? So I make a similar thing, and basically I just found these like Willy Wonka colored Zonker strips.
Okay.
So I call it the Wonka beater, but it's also pink and yellow and purple and epic, and I call it the acid pink Wonka beater for that reason, because it does look like what I've encountered when playing with that stuff.
Okay. Cool.
It's great.
I like
and
it.
I wonder that maybe redfish see it and go, "Oh shit, man."
Yeah. Oh yeah. What? Okay. Take
Can
your.
I curse something?
Yeah.
I'm out here
I mean,
slinging
we're.
it.
We're not out here throwing C words around, but we can
Nah.
do the occasional,
A couple more beers.
sheets or fook.
Okay. Okay.
So what is? Take your flies out of it.
Yeah.
What's like your favorite fly designer guy? Like one of your favorite tires?
So
Give me two. We don't have to
let's
stick it to one.
let's stick with the living legend first. I like Drew Chacon a lot,
Mhm.
man. He's one of those guys that, and it's not about how just extremely clean and pretty and specific his fly patterns are.
Yeah.
It's about his process.
Oh my God, I
Like,
know.
We're talking about a dude that's a literal, a human assembly line. Like
Yeah.
he's just figured out how to tie 400 bugs in 2 hours.
Yeah.
And not that should be impossible, but I'm so glad that there's one guy that he's also he runs this. I don't know if you're familiar with the Salty Fly Tying Chronicle. It's like an emailed newsletter.
I don't think so.
The guy's a beast. He gives you step by steps, play by play.
Okay.
It's like cookbook kind of.
And he has like 50 books out there too.
I got all of them.
Yeah.
I love him. He's the goat and one of them anyway.
Yeah.
And he's also still so human and so available. You know, you can reach out to that guy.
No, what's funny about Drew is he's so nerdy good and he's nerdy nice and he's awesome. Like I love
Right.
whenever I see him and I know that one day he's going to be 65 and look back on like that Lefty Cray style of like
Oh, yeah.
person. You know, he'll be at all these industry shows. You know, at 80 tying
Yeah,
flies.
yeah,
and
yeah.
they're going to have like 20-year-old kids going, dude, that's Drew
He's
Chacon,
gonna have like
man."
these little kitschy like
Yeah.
backhand remarks that are
Oh,
about
for
whip
sure.
finishes.
Kind
you
of like
know?
Dave Whitlock.
Yeah,
Whitlock.
yeah.
You know, Whitlock. He passed away like
I
in the
know.
last 6-8 months.
I
But
know.
I mean, he was probably 88 or 90, but still always going to these shows, and everyone knew who he was.
Yeah.
And he's one of the first people I remember that I met that I had that. Oh my God, I just met Dave Whitlock.
100%.
And I had one of his guide to aquatic trout foods.
Okay.
And he drew like this magical like rainbow trout rising up to a mayfly, and I was like I thought I had like
Floored.
a Van Gogh.
Yeah.
You know, like it was
Yeah,
in my book.
You got the one that you could probably.
Yeah. And then I loaned it to a buddy in college and never saw it again.
Are you serious?
It's just like, come on, dude. Like I told you, I need this
Fook
book
that
back.
guy.
Yeah, I
Fook
know.
that guy. I'm just kidding. He's probably a great guy.
No,
He has great,
you're right.
great taste.
No, Fook that guy.
Well, while we're on the OGs, Tim Borski.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
You know, I think his
Yeah.
style of fly tying is my favorite for bugs.
Yeah.
But I think if there's somebody that I could really hope to emulate as
Yeah.
far as how I attack filling orders and keeping people,
Yeah.
well fed on flies would be Drew Chacon. But as far as a designer, a
Mhm.
fly tyer who seems to have a acid trip kind of brain,
Yeah,
Tim Borski.
he is. And what's crazy about his flies is you can tell they're Tim's from a mile away. Like he
Exactly.
has
Same thing with his artwork.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
just so on the specific.
He was the
thing.
one after Whitlock for me where I was like, okay, Tim Borski's the next dude I got to meet one day.
Facts. I still haven't met
Yeah.
either him or Drew. So Paul, you just shake a leg at him or whatever.
Yeah.
Tell him the creak and reeking
I will.
wants to let Focus have a handshake.
Yeah, yeah. No,
You know?
Tim's great. Tim's a nice guy. He definitely lives his own life down there in the Keys. He's not seen a whole lot. He's not
See,
out
that's-
showing his art. He's not
so
trying to
sick.
make be a personality by any means, but
I
he is a
love that.
personality
Yeah, you don't
without
have
trying
to,
to
try.
be. Yeah.
yeah.
And he's awesome. But yeah, his flies are incredible. Like
I mean, I grew up watching the Walker's K stuff
Mhm.
with not even understanding what I was given. I had to rewatch in my. I'm only 35 now, but when I turned 30, I kind of got real deep on all this. This
Yeah,
was
yeah.
during I don't know, the beginnings of cutting my teeth on fly tying really hard.
Yeah.
Thank God for your shop we had for a while because that's all I was doing. Was just
Yeah.
tying flies,
Totally.
watching Walker's K at night, closing it out.
yeah, man. Like
And watching Tim and Flip and
where
watching
Tim's
them
over there
interact.
arting on the side
Yeah.
of the river.
Flip's he catches a redfish with them and then they go home and he's like, I think I'm gonna paint this fish.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna
Which was
accidentally paint.
hours ago.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
just crushes this what was clearly a burnt image.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other level of
Yeah.
because you're that guy, but I know and this is me also kind of third person. I don't know anything, but I assume that you still do what I got to see you do before, which was using photographs to really kind of all right, so timestamp, bam, that's
Yeah,
done.
fine-tune
And
it for
then-
sure,
and
yeah.
then bring out your spirit.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of stuff just like from my brain. Like
Yeah, he
I
just-
can draw a tarpon right now or draw a redfish, but if I want it to be doing something in particular, I need a photo, and
Totally.
then like you're saying, I get the pencil of it, and then I start kind of throwing in my pocket.
Riffing, yeah.
Yeah, so-
And it seemed like Borski just has that from the pocket. Bam.
Oh yeah, yeah,
This is-
because
this
he's
is real
created a
life.
style and he has that style burned into his brain, so he can make a snook look however he wants to, but it's always going to be a Borski snook.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then I got my old buddy, old Doug McKnight. He's another time machine for
Okay.
sure out in Livingston, Montana.
I don't know Doug McKnight. Put me
Yeah,
on. Put me
yeah.
on.
He's dirty and salty and just
I love that. In Montana?
yeah, yeah. He's in
even
Livingston. So we kind of grew up together in the last few years. I was in Dallas working at the same shop together.
Okay.
And then when I moved to Jackson, he moved out there 2 years behind me with his wife, and they had gotten married out there, so they were already tied to the Yellowstone area.
Got you.
And he has never left. So I mean, he'll tie.
Was he guiding or anything?
Yeah, he guided. Then he worked at Yellow Dog for a long time, and he's back to guiding.
Sweet. So he's also beast mode talent.
Yeah, but his thing is permit crabs.
Interesting.
I mean, he'd be like, "Oh man, I just finished tying 200 of them." I'm just like, God.
Are you okay? Who hurt you?
Boy, I don't understand how they do it.
No, that's awesome. I mean, the permit thing, though, I do understand, though, because we're talking about a finesse fish beyond,
Yeah,
beyond picky.
yeah,
So, and beyond, like, predictable. Obviously, a lot of people catch permit, but you can also hear a lot of people say that it's the
get in
most.
that mic. There
You,
go.
you can also hear people, here I am. You can also hear people talking about how permit are the reason they keep going back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it just leaves a hook in somebody's soul.
Yeah,
And why not just sit down and brew on 200 of those to make sure?
yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
that trip's not going to be easy either way.
And you know what? At the end of the day, I honestly think catching a permit is like catching a redfish. Like, I don't think they looked at that fly and was like, "Oh man, it's not missing a leg. I'm going to eat it." Like, I think they're so impulsive still, and
Sure.
they're just doing this back and forth, and it just happened. You happen to get the right one, the right day,
I can't wait to
and you
try.
caught that permit. But yeah,
Now, you do a bunch of Palmetto Club fishing.
yeah, yeah.
Would you say that those permit are way up high on the list of picky, selective, just highly going to ruin your day fish, or easier?
Permit or permit. So
Okay.
like,
So it doesn't matter.
I've always heard keys permit are the hardest.
Okay.
And that might be true, but I had one rush my fly the other day that, like, I've never seen one. But he also stopped.
Like, he went out of his way.
Oh yeah, and he stopped 2 inches shy of it and said no. But I've also been in Cuba that is supposedly not untouched but less fished.
Right.
And I've been to Cuba twice, thank God, and I've I've been around a lot of permit. I have yet to catch one.
Mm.
So I think permit are just permit, no matter where. I think
Sure.
they're just. I don't know why they get put on this pedestal so much, just because they're hard to catch.
Yeah, they're super challenging. You know, to be honest with you, I like fly fishing more than I like getting refused.
Yeah,
So I've become an angler who, I'm opportunistic. I'll take whatever trip I can get.
yeah,
For any species I can get. But if I wanted to pick fish to chase down, I want the bullies.
oh yeah,
Like, I want things with teeth. I want stuff that wants to kill things.
oh for sure.
And as a fly tire, there's nothing more gratifying because these are fish that are going to eat a cigarette butt if you throw it at them.
oh yeah,
But at the same point, fish with teeth, fish that come out in ambush. I'm talking smallmouth. I'm talking little pickerel around here.
yeah.
I like, bowfin
The
eats.
backyard stuff.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I do like, I love red fishing. I
Yeah.
love red fishing because it's right here and it is so cinematic. But I do not like a finesse moment when somebody is trying their first time and it's about to make the make or break.
Yeah.
You're writing with Sharpie moment for them
yeah, yeah,
that you can't get back
yeah.
if they're gonna love this or not. So I'm like, man, let's just go pull on bass.
Yeah.
Let's go pull on
Totally.
something that just.
It's like
Eats.
getting the trainer. Like,
Yeah.
just get your trainer mode on.
A long time ago, I was in your shop. We were working on. You were painting. I don't know. Time flies, doing nothing, whatever. And I was talking about how bad I wanted to go and get tarpon soon. And I finally lined up a trip to the Keys with a guide who had never put fly anglers on the bow. And you were like, "Hey man, can I make one suggestion to you just in life that you don't have to listen to?" And I said, "Yeah." And you went. You were so nice about it. You're like, you should probably just go cut your teeth on bonefish first. Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, don't, because you're going to get your hopes up. You're all fired up. You're
Yeah.
new at this. You're just salivating over
Yeah, yeah.
catching a tarpon. And it may not happen. And I just want you
Yeah.
to know.
Where did you go? You went down to the Keys, right?
Yeah, I went on the Keys. We ended up, I stuck a tarpon. It was sick.
Weren't you fishing with like Eric Estrada or something for
I
peacocks?
did that first. We hit Miami. And then we
Okay.
found peacocks. And I caught a little juvie poon, which is cool. A couple of those in little, like,
Yeah,
ravines
canals and
by
stuff.
the airport behind the
That's
hibachi
fun, though.
hut.
That's
was
a
the
blast.
best.
Yeah,
However, it wasn't a 180-pound
yeah.
oceanfront tarpon.
Like, those things will just slap you in the face. Like,
but it was a guy that wanted to kill something. It was a
okay.
fish that like was what I like.
yeah,
And so then we end up having a great time with Eric. Then we go down south and we drive down the bridge, and I'm sitting there having this like out of body experience, thinking, oh my God, I'm about to have a 200-pound fish jump 10 feet in the air, and it's gonna be awesome, and everything's gonna be perfect. So we go for a day with my buddy Dave, and I won't get too specific on his name just in case. I haven't haven't asked him if I can share this piece because it's not pretty.
Yeah.
But basically, Dave's on the back of the boat. He's pulling around this flat. It's Shelkey. I'm not going to be too specific, but Shelkey area. And truth be told, he hadn't had a lot of experience seeing tarpon walk up within 10 feet of a boat and eat a fly.
Okay.
So the first time I pull a fish off of a chain of fish,
Yeah.
10 feet to the boat, I mean, this fish walked with my fly for 20 feet.
Yeah.
And this was just a little peach-colored toad or
Okay.
something. And he walks all the way to the boat, and Dave is so locked in to the experience that he's no longer controlling the boat. He is chin over shoulder,
Yeah. Yeah.
watching the situation unfold, and falls
Oh wow.
off the platform, breaks a stiffy in half.
Oh my God. Really?
And I lose this fish, clearly.
Oh man.
A lot happened, right? So we immediately run back in. First we go to Lorelei, all right, and I get myself a burger and food to deal with
Yeah.
what I just went through because that fish was about to do it.
Uh-huh.
And so I eat, drink, I get a little torqued up, ready, basically, to do this again. He buys a new pole while we're eating. $1,000, boom, bam. Gets a new pole, we go back out. Fish line up the right way. We put the right cast out. I've got my buddy Dylan Barker with me. He works with me with with Focus, so plug him in here. But basically, Dylan and him are both coaching me. Twitch, stop, twitch, stop. They're just giving me all the, and I black out basically. Like I don't, not in a way where like I faint or fall off the platform like he did.
Yeah.
I just get so zoned in that I can't listen to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm staring at the heaven. I got Nirvana in my face.
Oh yeah.
So I finally get this fish to eat, and it jumps, 10 feet in the air, I think, probably a foot, 10 feet in the air, his eyeball level with mine on a platform, so he's got to be high up,
Oh yeah.
and spits it.
Yeah.
I'm riding away for 15 seconds, but it felt like 3 years.
Yeah.
And
And you never get that feeling out of your brain and arms and
exactly. I remember
everything.
coming back, and I sent you a message, and I was like, hey, Paul, I'm fooked.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you are, buddy.
it's easy.
You
It
are.
happens. And what the cool thing is you can come back from a trip like that, and I'll never forget the day we went out there and redfish that day where we just had.
Oh, my God. What was that?
I've had 3 days that have been like that in the whole 12 years I've been here. And it was with you that day. It was with some buddy of mine from Texas 2 years ago.
I know you had seen a lot of tails just the day
The day
before,
before.
too, with Leon.
With Leon.
Rest in peace.
And yeah, no doubt. And also, wasn't it like when we fished that day, it was like a year since one of your buddies had passed
Exactly.
away.
It was a wild.
We had that whiskey and
We drank to my buddy Chris, who also passed.
yeah. So
And then we saw it was like,
You
I
could-
remember at one point I was casting out a fish, and I got a little bit flustered because I had like a fly line problem, and I was like, oh, he went away, and you're like,
Yeah.
it's okay. You got 6 more.
yeah, it
It's
was
more
like
to choose from.
whack-a-mole. It's
Yeah.
just constantly.
Just everywhere. That was so fun, man.
Well, that's awesome, buddy. Well, I appreciate you spending some time and
Dude, thank
hanging
you.
out on this new project we've got going here. So,
Yeah, man. Excited to watch it just blast off.
yeah, I just started with like a 10-minute prologue of I don't know how this is going to go. We'll see what happens.
Hey,
we'll see what happens.
I just gave you another 10 minutes of here goes nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank
Well-
you, brother.
Well, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Chris Perot. All right, we're going to take a little break here. You're not going to know that, but I'm going to stop this thing for a second and see who we got next. So thanks again. See you in a second. All right. Just want to thank Chris for coming and hanging for a second. So we're going to get someone else up here in a second, probably Bug from Skiff Shop, and see what he has to say. So I'm going to take a break here in a second, but also wanted to throw out, everyone needs to go check out Field and Stream. So my lifelong hope one day was to be able to do an art or illustration of Field and Stream, and they stopped doing print for like 4 years, and they're back. So go to their Instagram page or their website. It's like a membership deal. It's 2 issues a year, but the thing is like a book. It's not a magazine. It's something you'll keep forever, and tons of really cool stories of photographs and art and illustration. They're kind of going back to ground zero. total refresh, and I did a double page spread in that I was super proud of. Very happy to be part of that project. And it was about a bluegill. The whole idea is that they're kind of going back to basics, starting fresh, and that's who doesn't start off with a bluegill when they start fishing. So that's kind of the idea and the basis of the magazine for the first edition. You can still get it, and I would highly recommend it. That magazine needs support. That thing needs to keep going. That thing needs to be a just solid chunk in the outdoor industry as far as media and magazines, books, what have you. So check it out, Field and Stream. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to pause this for a second, see if I can get Bug to hang out with us and talk skiffs, talk skiff repair, all that kind of stuff. So hold on just a second. We're going to pause. All right, we got Bug Little here.
Hey.
From On the Fly Skiff Shop.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm like, all of a sudden I thought that I was saying it wrong, but I read the hat. So
we finally got some merchandise.
Oh, they're loving you.
We love it.
They're loving you.
We love it.
Man, well, this is a fun little event. Glad you're here. I usually rub elbows with you at these type of things, but it's my me being at these events has kind of been since the old Flood Tide days has died. So it's neat that these guys are doing this. A lot of new faces too. A lot of people I don't recognize. Ever since COVID, Flood Tide dying, me having a kid, I've kind of been not dormant, but I just haven't been to a lot of local events like this. So it's cool that they're doing it. Cool you're here. And I guess things have probably been busy for you. You've been kicking it.
Yeah, we're having fun with it. We really invested into this business this past year. So we've got a crew of 7 guys now, as opposed to earlier it was just 3 of us in there.
Okay.
So I knew the work was there. I knew that hiring on, over doubling our capacity was definitely the smartest thing to do. But the real work has really been into the metal work that we started doing
Get
back
in that
in
thing.
January.
There we go.
Hey. So we started our Metalworks division back in January, and it's really taken off.
Okay, and that's platforms, just various different accessories, any sort of tubular metal that people are putting on boats.
Absolutely, and really what we're diving into in the same way that we really do pride ourselves in being a one-stop shop, we're taking that same aspect to the metal side of things. And so we're not just capable of building a super custom pole and platform or custom platform, but we're really trying to dive into really any aspect of the boating industry.
Okay.
And so we're having fun with one-off accessories. A lot of times, they don't work out, and we've got to scrap it. Scrap bin is definitely filling up, and that's okay. That's learning,
Yeah.
And that's been a big part of this business too, since we started, is learning. We take everything that we've got, and a lot of times we're just sitting there staring at the boat, going, "How can we make this better?" And so that's something that we love is being able to.
I have no idea what that sound's coming from. We'll just keep
not
rocking
me,
with
is
it.
it?
I don't think so.
But it's awesome to have a customer come and bring their boat that they may have had since 1998 or 2000, 2001. One owners, and all they want to do is customize to the build that they always dreamed of, And so that being said, we'll always stay service industry. We'll always stick with that. But we're building as much as we can be.
Awesome. I mean, how long have you had this business? 5, 6 years?
We're coming up on 5 years.
Okay. So, and I'm sure you've asked yourself, that's so irritating. I have no idea what that is. But I'm sure you've asked yourself this. I'm sure other people have asked you, is there ever any plans to maybe build your own boat from scratch?
And going back and just saying that again, we definitely want to stick to service base. We want to be a service provider. And the market, there's so many different boat builders out there now, and we're in a great position to stick with what we're doing. I'd never want to put an answer to that.
Yeah. There's no need to put a yes definite or a no definite. I mean,
but we could see ourselves doing something. It just might not be under the On the Fly name.
I guess, do you have that itch? You probably have that itch.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm taking my personal boat. It's a 1998 21 Maverick Master Angler. I've got the cap separated. We've got the stringers ripped out of the boat. We're completely rebuilding this boat and beefing up on the engine. I mean, we're just taking these boats from the skin up,
Yeah.
Yeah. So as of right now, I don't know.
So, I don't think I've ever in person been to your place, but from the photos I've seen, and people have talked about it. I know at one point it was just one big room. Do you have more space now where you can take on more boats? Is that
Yes.
okay?
We're still in the same 4,000 square foot shop.
Okay.
We have it separated in the sense that we've got a wiring and rigging department. We've
Okay.
got the welding in the
So
back.
it's more
of the shop.
efficient.
Very much so.
Okay, gotcha. At one point it was just like kind of all in the same thing.
Right.
Then you got 7 people, so you got to have some sort of efficiency.
Exactly.
Okay.
We've got one guy over in the wiring and rigging station doing his job, with the welders in the back of the shop doing his. We're doing lamination up in the front, paint booth is set up outside. It's great. It has to be that way for us to not be on top of ourselves.
Does Joe Coffin still have his boat in the place? Or
No,
just-
no, he's got his. We that's a funny boat. We I've touched every inch of that boat. It seems like it's been an ongoing build. It's a great build. That's such a fun boat. That boat originally was ice blue. We have the Seamus green on it now. We unbolted the big lumpy console that's on there and actually glassed in a floating console, as they say. New engine, new Tatsu on it, teenage prototype jack plate on the back of it, new pulling platform, new casting platform, rope work done by our good friend Minnie. Check her out.
yeah.
I mean, truly, every inch of that boat, rewire, re-rigged. I mean, everything.
Is Minnie working for you?
No. She's working for herself. She's got
okay.
a great company. She does phenomenal work. Check her out. All of her steering wheel wraps, polling platform
I didn't
wraps.
know she was doing that.
Absolutely. We
Okay.
got some stuff over here to check out too.
Well, I saw her walking up with someone. I just didn't know that she was doing that. I'll definitely check it out a little closer. That's cool.
Absolutely. She's fantastic. Very dedicated.
So essentially, you're kind of like the Charleston cosmetic surgeon for people's boats. You're like a doc. You're like the boat doctor around here.
One-stop shop.
That's so funny.
You
I mean,
know-
all these little facelifts and little this, little that. I mean, eventually someday I'll have to bring mine and just kind of get it a little retouched up,
Come
a little
on.
checked out. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what's so much fun about this business is that we're doing something different every day.
Yeah.
And-
Challenging. You're learning something new every day.
Exactly.
So what's the deal with all these boats? Like,
Man, there's some
what-
gorgeous boats out here.
So, do you know all these boat brands by
Yeah.
name?
Well,
What are we dealing with here?
A few of our platforms are on some of these boats.
Okay.
But we've got spear boats, we've got Chittams, we've got Thompson, Calibogue, Beavertail, and the list goes on. I mean, these boats wrap around the side where we can't even see. Some new boats out here, some older boats out here, some cheaper boats, some more expensive boats.
Yeah.
There's a whole wide variety.
What's this one on the far left? Do you know which one that is?
Yeah, that's actually one of our employees, Gus. That's a Spear. That's
Okay.
a great boat. We did we did a custom color non-skid job on that.
Okay.
He went kind of somewhat of a green tone like your boat. But really, that's about it on that guy. He's
So have you kind of touched all these? Are these here because of you, or are they here to promote their boat companies as well?
No, definitely they're here to promote their boat builds.
Okay.
These guys are fantastic. It's just that with us providing some of these products, we're platform builders for a few of these guys.
Okay.
And we do pride ourselves on having a good relationship with all these builders.
Okay.
That's important.
Now, do you have, obviously without, burning a bridge or saying the wrong thing, do you have a certain boat that you just enjoy working on more? Or is there any, or maybe for certain reasons, there's certain boats for certain reasons you like working on? I don't know.
Boats without bins.
Okay.
I love working on them all. They're all very different and unique in themselves. I really couldn't pick one over the other. I truly think they're all fun to run. I love running Joe Kaufman's Lossman, and I
Yeah.
love running a Spear or a Chittum.
Yeah.
They're all different.
Gotcha.
So unique in themselves.
Yeah, for sure. Well, have you been fishing lately yourself?
To be honest, I haven't as much as I used to.
Isn't it
as I
funny-
used to solicit outside of your business back in the day and be in the
Well,
water every day.
It's funny when you work, like, I get to go fishing every now and then because I need to take photography and get images for my paintings. But it's funny, the more you're kind of in this business, the less I feel like you get to fish locally. I get to do I just went to the Keys, but I feel like that's like the main thing I've fished in the last 3 months was going to the Keys. I haven't even fished in my own backyard
Man.
a whole lot. So
I
it's
can
just
relate.
funny how we get a little tied up locally with our own stuff where you're working on boats, but do you ever get to be in them? It's just it's funny how it all works.
Truthfully, each time, I'd say the majority of the time I've been in a skiff in the last 4 years is testing them and making sure that they're ready to go for the customer.
Yeah.
You know, I'll take my wife out and we'll run around whenever we can, but it just seems like all hands on deck to get this thing going.
Yeah,
You
cool.
know?
And so on the Fly Skiff, so what's any magical way to get on the Instagram?
So check us out on the Fly Skiff Company. We are on Instagram. We're on Facebook. You can check us out on Google. We're located right in North Charleston. It's very close to downtown, right down the road from Freehouse. Come by anytime. That's really about it.
Now, is someone from Oklahoma like that hat and just order it from y'all, even if they don't live here in Charleston, and come by and get it?
We are getting the online marketplace set up as we speak. We
merchy.
are
Getting merchy.
Yeah, we love it. We've definitely got a good bit of attention. We think our graphic designer Jay Fletcher did a fantastic job with it. Very
for sure.
passionate about his work.
Yeah.
And so it's our job to make sure that we get that work out there.
Yeah,
that's
I love that
important.
Osprey logo too.
We do too.
Yeah,
we do too.
Is there a hat with that on there?
Absolutely, got them
Okay.
right over there. I'll get you one.
Look at you.
Come on.
I just
Come
need
on.
to say the magic words. Well, hey, dude, appreciate it, and good luck to every. You've always been super nice, supportive of everything I've done, so I try my best to do it as well towards you. And I know that Mikey had a big project with you,
Yeah.
Mikey Benson, and I was always following through the steps with pictures he'd show
Love
me,
that
and
boat.
that thing turned out beautiful, man.
We call that boat hull number one. Absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a fantastic build, and he's a great guy too.
Well, thanks, buddy. I'm going to let the audience cheer
Thank you,
for you.
sir.
And
Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
you sitting down and taking a little time.
Big time. We really appreciate it.
All right, buddy, go sell some hats and make some platforms happen.
That's right. That's right. Take care.
All right, Bug Little, everyone. Bug
Thank you.
Little.
Yeah, man.
We're hot.
You say I don't listen. Well, I heard you crystal clear. How the hell can I tune you out? You bitching in my ear. Well, if there ain't that, then it's that. Quit screaming. I'm right here. You say I don't listen. Well, I heard you crystal clear. Quit hollering at me. I just got home. Been working all day.
All right.
Did I do wrong?
There it is. That's old Jacob Skelton himself.
Hey, in the flesh.
Seems like people are digging it.
Yeah. Good crowd.
All right, we got Jacob Skelton and Langston Oxendine.
Hey.
Dean Dine, whatever. You know,
Dine.
we're just gonna go with it all. I'm gonna keep that music playing in the background. That's one of old Jacob's tunes, brought to you by Bandito.
Bandito Band, Charleston.
But hey, guys, appreciate y'all hanging out with me for a second.
Right on, man. Thanks
Appreciate
for having
you.
us.
Yeah, absolutely.
cool.
So I met you through Jacob, but we've probably rubbed elbows before, and
Once or twice.
through
Once or
Slisky
twice.
probably especially.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And so tell us about this event. I know that you're kind of ground zero on getting this thing going, right?
Yeah. It's something we kind of just started between a few guys of us.
Get in that thing.
It's something we had just started, kind of off the whim. Just a great way to get people into the sport, being fly fishing and whatnot. Just the community of Charleston is really, really good when it comes into just, hey, we're doing something today or something. So even through the power of social media, it's been pretty huge just to kind of bring it out. But
Yeah.
it's all just kind of the love of sport, from fly tying to skiffs to
I mean, it's
whatever.
like Skiff Central.
It is Skiff Central today.
I haven't finally got to touch your boat
Did you?
over there.
Yeah, it's a good one.
That's
We need
the
to get out.
only real fishing boat that actually has scratches out there.
That one's been
Yeah.
fished. It was fished like 24 hours ago.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
That's the only reason it's here is because it was still on
Did y'all
the
do the
truck.
flood last night?
We tried.
We tried.
Yeah.
Where were y'all?
We did the like Goose Creek, Cooper River
Okay.
area. Say
It
stuck.
It
near
didn't
the
quite
house.
get up there.
It got up. It was perfect. all conditions were there.
Yeah,
But
So you
actually got a
tried,
little
but the
higher,
fish
yeah.
didn't try.
there was
Okay.
nothing.
Cross between.
We went out about 2 weeks ago. I took my wife and my cousin out and saw, I don't know, 3 or 4 massive fish and way less water. The same area. I was like, they're going to be there tail and happy when the flood comes. But
Psych.
jokes on us per usual.
Yeah,
So did you
think
guys
so.
fish together at the Taylor's Ball when I met you?
Mm-mm.
I didn't really meet you there, but I saw you. And
Yeah.
who did you fish with at that?
I fished with a guy, Matt, that I met somehow through the skiff shop.
Okay.
We were. He was already. I was like, hey, we should fish this Taylor's Ball thing, and he was like, he said, I'm fishing with Connor. I was like,
yeah.
and he was like, but I know a guy that's looking for a partner. I was like, boom, sign me up.
Okay.
We were
Gotcha.
supposed to fish it together.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we don't have the best track record when it comes to stuff
yeah,
like that.
planning and things.
That's funny because in the way I met you is you emailed us or me, I guess, like a week after Taylor's Ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to try to talk to
Music.
you at Taylor's Ball. And,
Yeah, and I remember you hanging around.
Mhm.
I remember seeing you.
Yeah, I came to all the things, and then I saw you at the Taylor's Ball, and was like, and really, I guess Jimmy was playing
Yeah.
keys,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, y'all are playing all the stuff that you
Yeah.
know, when I moved from Atlanta, I was playing very similar styles of music. I was like,
I'll chime
I gotta,
into that,
I gotta
too.
holler
He-
at these guys.
And we needed a lead
No,
guitarist.
he knew that because at that event he's like, I'm gonna holler at Paul.
Yeah.
Like I just need somebody to play with because he had left Them Ain't My Cows or whatnot.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he was like, I'm
Them
gonna holler.
Ain't
but still, I'm still with them, ain't my cows.
Well,
But
no,
I'm-
but-
yeah,
No,
but
left
yes.
the area.
Yes,
Left the
I did,
area.
yeah, left my local.
You're working remote with them.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah,
working
exactly.
remote now.
Oh, but no,
Doing
that's funny
Zoom
that
video and
happened.
all that.
That's awesome because, we need a lead guitar. If you've heard my lead guitar,
Yeah,
you
I say,
know that,
I sent you a message and you
need
fired
someone.
right back. You're like, yeah, come on,
come on.
we'll give you
And it
45.
wasn't-
You
I was
get
just
45
told
minutes.
I told these guys, I was like, Jacob's coming. Who's Jacob? I go, I don't know. But he's going to come and play, and I think it was clear that we all had a good time. And then you and Brooke started talking about your fish. I was like, okay, these guys are locked in.
Yep.
No,
Yeah.
it's not hard to get along with him.
Yeah.
So, so you're playing here tonight. You're gracing us
I
with
am.
your performance.
Yep. Anything I can do to help.
So you came here from Atlanta like a couple years ago?
I started working here remote, like commuting here about 2 years ago, and then moved here full time right at a year ago.
And I know who it is, but like who's kind of your main music influence, if you will?
John Prine. Todd,
Oh, really?
Todd Snyder, probably.
Okay.
I would
Wh-
say my main two, like as far as this style of music, my
Yeah,
folky stuff.
Okay. So you go from that. You like fish a lot. Like you got
love
a big,
fish,
You got a big
yeah.
fish show coming up.
Yes.
Where's that again?
I'm going to that Monda Green. We got an RV. It's my first
An
festival.
RV.
I've never done a spend the night festival, and I'll be 36 years old tomorrow. And
You've never done. It sounds so
never-
childish.
I know.
I've never done a spin the night
yeah,
festival.
it's like summer camp for a 36-year-old.
Yeah, but he's
And-
got kids that went to a fish concert.
Yeah,
before.
and I'm going, and it's gonna be awesome.
I did Bonnaroo back in 2005, and it's the last one I ever did.
Yeah, I know. I don't
First
know.
and last.
I don't know how. I don't think I could do it in a tent, but we got
RV,
Yeah,
yeah.
RV. We're doing it in an RV. We're doing it right. We're going to Delaware. Never been to Delaware.
Is the old lady going?
No.
Oh, so
No,
it's just
it's
you.
Are y'all
all-
driving
all
here
boys.
from
Yeah,
Delaware?
the 3 buddies are driving, picking up an RV in Atlanta,
Picking
coming
you
here
up.
to pick me up, and we're hightailing it to Dover, Delaware, to see the
God.
banned fish from Vermont.
I mean, like I told you the other night, like I'd be down for that, but like 2 nights and then the other 3 and 4 nights, I'd
Yeah.
just be hanging out in the RV.
Exactly.
Like that's all I can do.
I'm gonna have to pace myself pretty hard, I think.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. Are you gonna be live feeding for us?
I don't
Give us
know.
some
I might
live
have
feeds?
to. Yeah. Now that I think this is only the second podcast I've ever been a part of. The other one never did anything, but
This
yeah,
one
I
might
have
not
to.
either.
I know. Yeah.
At this point, this one has 0 listeners.
So,
So
yeah. Well,
That's a
this
good
is
thing.
this is night one.
well, I'll be first one.
So Langston, where are you originally from?
I'm from Lumberton, North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've got some sort of accent. I don't know if it's country or not, but it's something.
It's a cross between
native.
it's a native. I'm part of like the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina, so it's like the Oracoke Islands.
Okay, you're
it's
talking
kind of
islands now.
Well, yeah, we're about 45 minutes from the coastal area.
Okay.
And we're very distinct when it comes into dialect. I mean,
Okay.
and my last name Oxendine, if you were to look it up, like
Uh-huh.
it's strictly North Carolina, South Carolina.
Okay.
It's a real distinct
So it's on the
area.
coast.
Yep. It's Lumberton, North Carolina.
My buddy just sent me something was going around Instagram, and it had this guy with this crazy accent from North Carolina.
There's
It's like, oh yeah, or like it was like a
I've seen
famous
that
video.
Yeah.
That's
It's like
gonna-
they're
yeah.
like the old. It's like the closest you can get.
That's
to like
in the
old
same
English.
area.
Yeah.
That's in the same area as Orcoke. Like if you were to hear my uncles and them talk, like they really insinuate certain vowels and stuff, and like especially more liquored up you were to get, it's kind of one of those things where a little hard to tell between. Now I spent time out west, so like I've got gentrified when it comes in my accent. I've got a little bit of schooling, so it's not as bad as it used to be. But if I get fired up, it's kind of hard to tell between like a Scottish dialect or something, and that's a straight derivative of we've never left this coastline, so that's one of those things where
It's
pretty,
I'm from Texas, so when like I'm the same way. I've lived in a bunch of different places, so I feel like that Texas accent's mellowed out. But I also grew up in the city, so in the city there's not a lot of it.
exactly.
But my
yeah.
family's all from East Texas, and when I get out there, it's like the closer I get to East Texas, like the miles I'll start going, yeah, man. Like it's like
Yep.
when you get to Tyler, it's like, man, you talk like this, and
Yep.
like you can't like escape it. And then I went to North Texas with a bunch of my buddies from East Texas. And we get around, all of a sudden it's like, man, that guy's from Tyler, Texas. All of a sudden,
It's very distinct.
but I grew up in
yeah.
Dallas, so it just doesn't make sense. It's like it kind of comes out in
part
you.
of it.
No.
It runs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially when you start like actually listening to people's dialect, you can really start thinking about where exactly they're from. But that's one thing about our area, especially if you hear like somebody old in like a bait or tackle shop or something like that. It's always like, because you got to slow down.
All my family's
It's
from,
bad,
both
bad.
my parents are from Georgia, and I lived there the majority, but they are. Everybody's. I was like, he talks so fast. Where are you from?
Yeah. And then
Where are you from? My
It's
dad's
kind of
always
like a Cajun sound. Like
yeah,
they talk
he's
so
like, you
fast.
talk so fast. My dad, what does he say? He says, you talk so fast, you strike a Yankee dumb.
No, it's funny. And then, I've got family that's like near Buncombe County and like Asheville, North Carolina. And it seems like when you start getting up into hills, everybody starts talking slower.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
Hey, bud.
The mountain folk.
Yeah, they're kind of definitely
Nothing but
in on
time.
Thank
So how did you get into fly fishing?
Oh, man. So I fished at Hunter Banks at 18 years old, 19 years old. That's where I started out. I ended up moving out west to fish with a group called Cowboy Drifters. I did like a little internship there. I left there and went to Colorado. I there proceeded to stay with like a group called Fly Fisher Guide Service and the Golden Trout. Just shout them guys out. I stayed there for 7 or 8 years, and then I decided to come back here when I turned 30. So my grandpa was probably a big influence when I got into it, but I started like kind of like we were talking about earlier. I started in a time when like the films were big and stuff, so it was, I don't know, it was kind of something you would chase, more of a prosthetic thing than anything. But yeah, my grandpa, I'd say, probably was the first one to put a fly rod in my hand. I was big in like spin fishing and stuff growing up. Thought I was going to be on like the Bassmaster Elite Series or something, chasing on a big reservoir. And then I guess that progressed with my ADHD is like between tying flies and this
Cool.
is tying a third. So
You just got into it, the whole thing.
that's definitely just dive straight forward.
Yeah.
It's easy to become an identity in this sport where like everybody that's if you know them, that's just all they do.
Yeah.
Which is good. Like Mick Jacob, yourself, or everybody here just kind of through that alone.
Yeah, for sure.
And social media is good and bad when it comes into that, but that's
And
another story.
and you work on the fly, the skiff
yes,
Co.
yes.
We just talked to Bug a little bit ago. Is there something in particular that you're in charge of that you kind of work solely on there, or you do a little bit of everything?
A little bit of everything. Technically, I would be the shop manager. That's what they want to say. I kind of pride myself in just like fiberglass and stuff like that. That goes back to trout. I mean, I started doing fiberglass 7 or 8 years ago, just on an old drift boat. I had clients
Okay.
and stuff that were going to run. It was like I'd start learning. And then as I kind of progressed out and wanted to get out of guiding and just a little bit something more sustainable. And I looked over here. It was actually through one of y'all's podcasts, Barely Live, through Mike and them. I heard that there was a shop and, stuff had popped up. And, that kind of just got me into the skiff market, going from, fresh to salt, you could say.
It just seemed interesting. Like, if you had a little foundation in that, it seemed like it made sense.
A little bit. And like you spend so much, like I said, I started at Hunter Banks when I was 18, so I'm 30 now. I'd spent the last 10 years of my life kind of relevating to one subject. And besides working as like an internal dealer for a fly company or something like that, I knew that there was maybe something a little bit more progressive. I built my own skiff with my hands and
cool.
stuff. So that kind of little stuff, it's like, how can I make this help me? And
Yeah.
I'm broke, too. That kind of helps.
Yeah,
things.
no.
Skiffs are not cheap.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the
I've
biggest
learned
ones.
that if you work in the fly fishing business, you probably broke.
You're very
most
much so
likely.
broke, or you got
Yeah.
a rich girlfriend. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
pretty
Nothing
much
wrong with
it.
that. Nothing wrong with
That's
that.
it. No.
That's right. So Jacob, you're from Atlanta.
Mhm.
Like, where did you fly fish for the first time? Like, where was the first thing that?
First time I fly fished was in, I believe, Montana.
Oh,
Like,
was it?
Yeah, I went out.
Not a bad place to
We
start.
did like a 2-week thing when I was like 12, I think.
Yeah.
And did we did Yellowstone. We did my first like fly fishing memory was in some lodge outside of Cook City, Montana. We took these like horses up and fished this like alpine lake for like dry flies, little brook trout. It was incredible. And then I really didn't pick up a fly rod again until I was out of college. I owned a restaurant in Carrollton, Georgia, and my Sweetwater rep was like, "Hey, do you like to fish?" And I was like,
Sweetwater
"Absolutely,
rep,
yeah." And he said, "Well, we're doing it was a Sweetwater versus their distributor, like trout fishing tournament through Cohutta."
Oh yeah, like
They had some private water, and we
The
did like
Hooch?
teamed up. It was up in North Georgia somewhere. They've got like a little stretch of private water.
Like Soquoi or something?
Yeah, near it. I think I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
It's escaping me. But went up there, and then we won, and I got like a $300, $350 gift certificate.
Oh, cool.
And
Pro staff.
bought a fly rod. Yeah. Well, so I used to raft guide on the Ocoee, so I take that back. So when I was in college, I was a raft guide on the Ocoee River in like Benton, Tennessee area.
Yeah.
And on the 2 days a week we got off, that Christmas I'd asked my parents for a fly rod. They bought me one of those like Martin, like $60
Yeah.
like
with the
cheap
panther
old,
on
yeah,
it.
Tell
just
your
cheap
parents
old,
you told your
Yeah.
parents you were fly curious.
fly curious, yeah. And they bought me that, and I would go over to the Hiwassee and fish and never catch anything. And then so it started with trout, basically, I guess is what I'm boiling it all down to. And then
Yeah.
I got after COVID, I'd done a few trips in the salt, and then after COVID, we had closed down the restaurant, and I was like, screw it, I'm buying a boat, and we're going to the Keys for a month, and
Man.
the salt got in the veins, and within 2 years of that, I was moved to the coast.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think I feel like more guys that trout fish that try saltwater fishing kind of drift to salt, or at least trout fish and always dream about fishing. Like all the Western guys,
Yep.
they love trout fishing, but man, they come in the fly shop and they want to tie bonefish flies.
Mm-hmm.
They're like,
Yeah.
their mind's always around bonefish flies, and I don't find that hardcore saltwater guys drift to trout like that. Like I've got buddies that I've taken trout fishing that have saltwater guys that have never trout fished, and the whole concept of like not stripping the fly
Yeah.
and like
A
and
I was gonna say,
bending
unless
and,
you're
like,
stripping streamers,
Yeah.
like that's
Exactly.
like
A
but
bobber,
which is
yeah, that
those
sets
conditions
them
are.
out.
it's fun
you
to
know.
watch though, because
Yeah.
they're good fly fishermen.
Yeah.
but
Exactly.
they've never
Yeah.
trout fish. It's so funny to watch.
Yep.
The whole they're
Yeah.
just so confused.
Yep.
And
It is confusing. It's a
Yeah.
whole different.
It's a whole nother game.
Yeah.
and
Muscle memory is
Yeah.
a hell of a thing. Strip
Yeah.
setting and like
Yeah.
versus trout set.
Yeah.
It's a whole.
It's pretty crazy though to see trout guys can adapt to saltwater better, but saltwater guys cannot adapt to trout as much.
I think there's a big lap. That's just me thinking. I think there's a big lapse when it gets into just like what's next.
Yeah.
Because I've heard the same consideration. And it's like, well, man, I can take a 5-weight and go chase bones walking around and make it harder on myself. And I found that with glass rods myself. Like you just want to kind of add to
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
So like chasing a brook trout on 3-weight doesn't seem as appealing to some fellas.
Yeah.
And we all know about trout fishing. Like it is time, set, and moment that
Yeah.
makes that dream day available, and you have to work for that. And usually requires you spending a lot of time on a trout stream to get that bigger 20-inch fish.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say. I
It's
think
the
that's one thing that
gratitude.
correlates between both is just you're got to embrace the suck. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
the weather is. I would say that
The
most of the time the
mountains.
weather is way better on the water and the salt than it is in the.
Yeah. Well, I
mean, you-
can get out of a car if I pull up to the side of the stream I've never been to before, and I'm 90% sure if there's fish in there that I'm going to catch a fish.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But saltwater, it's like
Oh, but
I'm 90% sure I'm not
Not
going
gonna
to
catch
catch
it.
a fish.
Yeah,
I s-
might
we
sink
had that
this boat.
Yeah, we had that conversation yesterday about being like specifically a saltwater fly guide. Like all you can do is put them in front of the fish.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
and then it's
That's all you can do.
That's all you can do. I've spent I don't even want to count up how much money I've spent going out with guides and
Yeah.
like They put me in front of them, but
Especially when it gets into sight fishing. I mean,
Skunked, yeah.
particular when
Yeah.
you want to see something, eat something, that's kind of, ultimately what we chase as saltwater anglers. Is, I think there's a misconception of like the Florida Keys and the flats and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
we're kind of mentally chasing that, but we know probably 1 out of 14 days that we'll probably have something.
But a trout guide though can sit there in the eddy and be like, recast, just cast in, cast in, cast
Yes,
in.
like,
sir.
hand me that. Let me
Yes,
go a little
sir.
bit deeper,
But-
and then we'll get it.
But
you know.
you've been for 3 hours, haven't seen a fish. You finally see this bonefish or this redfish. And I can't imagine what it's like to be a guy to be like, well, I can kind of imagine taking friends, but be like, all right, this is the shot of the day.
Yeah,
This
that,
is
my
it.
first time. My
And you only
first
get
and
one.
the only time
Yep.
I can think that I've had like buck fever, quote
Yeah.
unquote, was saltwater fishing when like a triple digit tarpon like pops
Mm-hmm.
up beside you at 20 feet beside the boat that you didn't see coming. You're like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
Well, yeah, it's fantasized so much. I mean,
I think I was on the boat with my wife, and she goes, "What is that?" I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh, that's what we've been looking
my
for
God.
all
For
day.
oh my
Wow,
God.
Yeah.
exactly. And that
Snuck
getting
up
there
from
is
like
one
6
thing.
o'clock,
Yeah.
and just like
Yeah, there's something magical about it. Where that's what we're all out here for. We don't have the answers.
nope.
No, never
That's
will
what we
we
chase it
ever
for.
have them.
Well, I'm gonna let you guys go. I appreciate the
Right
time.
on, man.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having us. This
yeah,
was fun.
absolutely. Well, thanks for letting
That
me
works
joyride this thing.
No,
Definitely.
man, anytime.
Yeah.
What are you gonna get up there and play again?
Yeah, I am.
What you gonna start with?
I don't know. What do you want to hear? Or who do
Something
you
in
want to
G.
hear? Something. Yeah. Oh, I got that. I got
Something in
100
G.
songs in G.
Let's just something in G.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it.
You did all that on the iPad too?
Oh yeah, I got the iPod going.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not working all of a sudden. I don't. Here we go. Here's the applause. Anyway, Langston Oxendine and Jacob Skelton. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, everyone. So I'm back here at the studio now. Went home last night after that event. Got home, chilled out, watched the Rangers actually win a game against the New York Mets. Thank God. It's been a rough go for the old Rangers. But I was thinking on the way here, how am I going to kind of end this thing, sum this thing up? And I was thinking we're off the heels of Father's Day, and also Willie Mays died a couple days ago too, and it kind of brought those two subjects together. Like Willie Mays was one of my dad's favorite players, so I kind of always grew up in the shadow of like these baseball greats, and I always compared my modern day heroes in baseball to like my dad's heroes, and like the lore and just the old school stories of those old guys that at my age you could only see on baseball cards, and you couldn't even afford those baseball cards. You know, I had the King Griffey Juniors and those guys in '89 and past that, and the nostalgia of the old baseball cards always loomed. Like you'd go to the baseball card shows, and they'd always be like $100 for a cool old Willie Mays card, or I think I got a Bobby Bonds card and a Billy Martin card, and like I thought that was really cool to have those old ones. But you start realizing when you're like, there's different segments of your life where it starts making you realize that you're kind of older. Like I remember being like turning 19 or 20 and thinking, oh my God, I'm the same age now as like, Playboy models centerfolds, because it would always show like how old they are, and I was always thought 19 or 20 was so old. And you get to that age, and then you get to 30, and you're like, man, some of my favorite Rangers or baseball players or athletes are 20, 21, 22, and I'm 30. Man, I'm old. Then you get to 40, and then your favorite players are retiring. And I've always kind of associated my age with like players that that I watch on TV and in sports. And now I'm 49, and Willie Mays dies. It's just crazy to think that like my dad's favorite player has died, and he was such a huge name in the world of baseball and sports and black athletes and the stuff that they had to deal with being on the field, and primarily, white audiences and all those things that those guys had to deal with is beyond anything I've ever had to deal with. So hats off to Willie Mays and what he's done for the sport of baseball and everything else. So, and also just thanks to Pops, and my dad passed away about 7 years ago, and what an awesome father he was. Growing up, he was a teacher in the town that I lived in and grew up in Highland Park. So, we were kind of small fish in a big pond, but my dad was a big fish in the way that I always looked up to him because everyone loved him so much. He was one of everyone's favorite teachers. I still get letters to this day about how much my dad had an influence in their lives, whether they're doctors or, anything else, bankers, what have you. They loved having him as a teacher. It was fun seeing my friends grow up and ended up having him as a teacher as well. And he was one of my heroes, and everything that I love today was, he had an influence on baseball, fishing, art. He was a musician. He was a flamenco guitarist. That was his favorite thing to do. He clearly did all the old rock and roll stuff and tried to teach me all the Elvis and Johnny Cash stuff, but at the end of the day, flamenco was his passion. If you've never listened to flamenco guitar music, you got to check it out. And if you're a guitarist, you got to check it out. It's pretty incredible stuff. Very intricate, very fast music. It's way beyond anything I'll probably ever learn. So, but yeah, and he had the 5 B's: bass, baseball, blues, barbecue, and babes. I still do the babes because my wife and my daughter are my babes. But, man, I try to hit all 5 of those. If you're hitting all 5 of Larry's 5 B's, then you're doing it good. So hats off to dads. It's tough not having them on these just little milestones where you want to call them, and my mom for that matter as well. You just so if you got your parents still around, call them, tell them you love them, that you miss them, and always take advantage of them being around for sure. And but just wanted to say thanks for tuning in to this. I didn't mean to end on a somber moment, but to me, it's joyful. I find joy in talking about that stuff, memories. But tune in, check it out. Going forward, it's going to be anytime there's going to be a podcast, it'll be some sort of guest, and so it's not going to be just me rambling on by myself. I'm sure that's not too exciting, but I'll probably listen to this and be like, oh my God, I can't put this out there, but I'm going to try to. I'm going to put it all together. And, going forward, it should be a little bit more interesting with some guests. And then I'm going to put some videos up of me doing artwork, kind of behind the scenes of the art. And as we go forward, this will kind of morph and change. It's a fluid situation. So if you like this, though, spread it around, tell your friends and neighbors. But thanks. And if you have questions, feel free to email me. Maybe I'll have a whole segment of just questions and answers. That'd be fun. Paul@paulpuckettart.com. So check it out, and we'll see you. We'll go from there. Thanks again, and more stuff coming at you. Have a good one. Go fishing.
Pick one out. Don't think there'll be one in that whole bunch. Nah, you know I give a hoot about. Well, I don't want you to think you're the first one left. Never been around on my own. Let me think. There's the first round, getting so round, boy. Out on his own. There's the first round.